This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming. Hey guys, I'm going to have a Q&A next video. Please be sure to leave a question if you want to participate. So each of the Borderlands games have some pretty exotic and cool looking locations. You've got everything from tropical areas to swamps and even some cityscapes. Today I figured I'd go over what I think are some of the most interesting areas in Borderlands 2. So these are going to be the top 7 most interesting levels and locations in Borderlands 2. Number 7. MAGNYS Lighthouse. MAGNYS Lighthouse is a really cool area within the first campaign DLC for Borderlands 2, and that is Captain Scarlett and her pirate's booty. I think the most striking thing about this area is obviously the large elevated area that you can climb up. Of course, once you have reached the top, you get access to an area with grass and an actual lighthouse as well. I would think that if Borderlands had more lore, this would probably be one of the highest man-made structures from both games. It's also worth mentioning that MAGNYS Lighthouse also contains a BioShock Easter egg. You can encounter 2 different NPC enemies called Lil Sis and Mr. Bubbles. If you kill them, you have a chance to receive a little Evie pistol, and for those of you that are familiar with BioShock, Eve is basically your magic or mana in that game, and the little Evie pistol improves the regeneration rate on your action skills. If you think about it, a BioShock reference actually really fits here, considering that BioShock 1 features a lighthouse, as does BioShock 2, and the DLC for BioShock Infinite also features lighthouses. And of course, this all fits because MAGNYS Lighthouse, it's a lighthouse. Number 6, SCYLLA'S Grove. In my opinion, SCYLLA'S Grove is pretty much Borderlands 2's best swamp area. SCYLLA'S Grove is part of the 3rd campaign DLC, HAMMERLOCK's Big Game Hunt. It's worth mentioning that this area is somewhat similar to MAGNYS Lighthouse in the sense that there is a larger elevated area with buildings on top that you have to climb up to as a part of the DLC's main questline. Surrounding this large elevated area are some additional swamp areas and savage encampments that I recommend that you do visit. You will need to go to one of the savage encampments in order to spawn Ahmed Ok, which is the only way to get a Twister shotgun. I recommend that you come here alone just for the Twister shotgun, as it is really powerful. Now, there are also some quests that feature some skag pee, as well as there's a quest where you have to escort a skag around until it vomits up claptrap parts. And speaking of claptrap, there's also a large claptrap statue in this area if you know where to look. Number 5, Opportunity. This is a city area being constructed by the Hyperion Corporation on Pandora. This area is a huge contrast to many of the other snowy, wasteland, or other rural areas found throughout Borderlands 2. I would say if we ever get to go to Earth in the Borderlands universe, or whatever planet the Vault Hunters originally came from, the whole planet may look a lot like this particular area. What's weird is that Jack isn't based here at all, even though a lot of the trailers for Borderlands 2, before the game came out, originally made it look like that this was his home base of operations. There are also a lot of side quests in this area that involve damaging the city. For example, Statuesque involves cutting down statues of Jack. The Home Movies quest involves creating a movie where you destroy Jack signs, you kill like Hyperion engineers, and you destroy a crane. And then finally, Moxie's Hell Hath No Fury quest involves flooding a portion of Opportunity and pissing Jack off. It's also plausible that Jack's body double is the same playable doppelganger character from Borderlands the pre-sequel. Just like Wilhelm and Nisha, another Vault Hunter bites the dust. Number 4, the ARID NEXUS Badlands area. The big reason I like this area is mostly just for nostalgic purposes. For those of you that haven't played Borderlands 1 yet, the Badlands part of the ARID NEXUS is essentially in the town of Firestone. Firestone was the starting area from the very first Borderlands game. Everything from the truck stop to some of the buildings are still intact. You can also visit TK Baja's house and acquire either the Tidal Wave or Ladyfist pistol through a side quest. You can also encounter Bonehead 2.0, which is also an homage to the original Bonehead Bandit mini-boss from Borderlands 1 as well. However, the two biggest differences between Firestone from Borderlands 1 are the massive structures that are part of the Hyperion Info Stockade, and a lot of these big pools of slag that are all over this particular area. If you have beaten Borderlands 2, you will know that you have to come here during Borderlands 2's main questline, so you will eventually come here during your playthrough if you haven't finished the game yet. I just recommend that you keep an eye out for Saturn. He's pretty tough to kill. Number 3, HAYTER'S Folly. HAYTER'S Folly is another location from Borderlands 2's first campaign DLC, Captain Scarlett and her pirate's booty. HAYTER'S Folly is best described as an underground oasis area. And the funny thing about this is that there is an actual oasis under the town of Oasis where a bunch of people died from a lack of water. The big appeal of this area to me is that it's pretty compared to many of the other areas in the game, not just its DLC. Most areas in Borderlands usually take place in like a wasteland, frozen tundras, and other rural areas of Pandora, whether they are brown, purple, or white in color. And this is, of course, the contrast to like blues and greens and yellows that are featured prominently in HAYTER'S Folly. The only other area that is somewhat similar to HAYTER'S Folly is Wham Bam Island from the Son of Cromarak's Headhunter pack. The difference there, though, is that that takes place on a beach island resort, as opposed to an oasis. It's also worth mentioning that the Rapier Assault Rifle is located in HAYTER'S Folly, so I recommend that you visit this place if you have a melee build for Borderlands 2. Number 2, the Immortal Woods. This is a cool area from the final campaign DLC, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep for Borderlands 2. I like this area in particular because while there are other areas in Dragon Keep that have quests or other things that reference Dark Souls, I think the Immortal Woods has the most obvious quest. This particular side quest is called Lost Souls and is given to the player by an NPC called the Crestfallen Player. During this quest, you kill enemies, light bonfires, and collect souls. You may also encounter a red invader by the name of Noob Killer. Let's just hope he's not a pyromancer. It's also worth mentioning that you also have to defeat 4 ghost/skeleton kings, and this boss I think is somewhat reminiscent of the 4 Kings boss fight from the first Dark Souls game. And again, I just hope you have your green blossoms ready. Otherwise, the MMORPG FPS side quest is a reference to traditional MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, where you have to wait for a bit for bosses to spawn. I also like the general layout of this area as well. I like the look of this area a little bit better once you actually beat Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, but it is still pretty cool before you do so. And finally, number 1. The Caustic Caverns. In my humble opinion, the Caustic Caverns is the best location that you can travel to in Borderlands 2. The Caustic Caverns are located under Sanctuary before it becomes airborne. You will need to travel to another area called Sanctuary Hole in order to get to the Caustic Caverns. Because you do have to do some backtracking and exploring to get to this area, it's totally possible to entirely miss this area during your first playthrough, as it's primarily an area for completing side quests, spawning Vermivorous on True Vault Hunter mode and up, or checking out 2 really cool Easter eggs. The first Easter egg is the Minecraft Easter egg, which features the signature Minecraft creepers, along with 2 exclusive Minecraft guns called the Longbow and Blockhead. You can also get a unique skin and head for each character that looks like something straight out of Minecraft. The second is another Dark Souls Easter egg. If you travel to a remote island in this area, you can visit a place that's very reminiscent of Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls 1. You can also meet an NPC that's very similar to Solaire of Astora. There's also a phantom sitting at the bonfire, much like you can see when you're playing Dark Souls 1 online. Otherwise, I really just like the look of this area. Instead of picking lava like Gearbox could have, they decided to have this area be like a toxic waste dump. And honestly, I think that was a really cool idea that they had, because in my opinion, that makes this the most interesting place in Borderlands 2. Anyway guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. Also, the Q&A is going to happen on either April 6th or 7th. So be ready for that. Leave your comments with your questions in this video below. Make sure you use the hashtag AskVPG thing. It makes it a little easier for me to sort things out. And it's also something that you guys collectively chose. So keep using that if you like it. Otherwise, don't use it and we'll do the Q&A anyway. Again, guys, take care and I'll see y'all next time.